6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The government plans to increase the local milk production to reduce the country's dependence on imported milk powder. Measures are to be taken to reduce the heavy number of inmates in prisons. Palali International Airport recommences operations. The price of a litro gas cylinder increased from midnight today. A new constitution will be in Sri Lanka cricket. Foreign news, explosions hit 2 military airfields in Russia. Sports, All Island School Games establishes 17 new Sri Lanka records. News in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed a committee consisting of representatives of the public and private sectors of Sri Lanka to work with the multidisciplinary team of the National Dairy Development Board of India to prepare a short, medium and long-term plan to increase the local milk production to reduce the country's dependence on imported milk powder. Accordingly, India's National Dairy Development Board and the Indian Amul Milk Company have taken steps to provide the necessary technical support for the production of liquid milk in Sri Lanka, and a preliminary discussion was held in this regard at the Presidential Secretariat today under the chairmanship of President's Secretary Saman Ekanayake. The President's Media Division said lengthy discussions took place about doubling the local milk production by implementing short and medium-term plans and making Sri Lanka self-sufficient in milk in the long run through a targeted program. State Minister Jagat Pushpakumara, joining the debate, said measures should be taken to reduce the heavy number of inmates currently in prisons. He stated this in Parliament, joining the committee stage debate on Ministries of Ports, Shipping and Aviation Services and Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms. MP Thalatha Athukorala requested units to be established regionally at High Court level comprising of officers from the Attorney General's Department. The Services of National Authority for the Protection of Victims of Crime and Witnesses has to be expanded. MP Athukorala further requested to enhance the process of rehabilitation of youth addicted to drugs. MP Yadamini Gunawardena, joining the debate, said a mixed electoral system is suitable for the country. Democracy in the country should be protected. Youth representation in the parliament should be made 30%. MP Dallas Alhaperumal said government must pay attention on suspects held for prolonged periods under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. State Minister of Ports and Aviation, Premalal Jayasekara, said that the aviation services in the Palali International Airport, which had suspended its services due to COVID-19 pandemic, will recommence on December 12th. He said the first flight after reopening is scheduled to arrive on December 12th from India. The State Minister mentioned this joining the committee stage debate of the Budget 2023 in the Parliament today. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The price of a litro gas cylinder is increased with effect from midnight today. Accordingly, the price of a 12.5 kilogram cylinder will be increased by 250 rupees. The new price of a cylinder would be 4,610 rupees. The new price of a 5 kilogram cylinder will be 1,850 rupees. A 2.3 kilogram domestic gas cylinder would be 860 rupees. The Minister of Sports, through the Attorney General today, informed the Court of Appeal that an independent panel of governance experts will be appointed in order to draft a new constitution for Sri Lanka cricket. Additional Solicitor General Sumathi Dharmawardena with State Counsel Rajka Aluvihare appearing for the Sports Minister made these remarks when the writ petition filed by a group of prominent individuals, including former professional cricketer Muttaya Mularidharan, was taken for the hearing before Court of Appeal. ASG Dharmawardena told court that drafting of a new constitution will be done with the assistance and expert advice of the Technical Committee of the International Cricket Council. Sri Lanka Navy has held a local multi-day fishing trawler carrying 20 would-be illegal migrants to a foreign country via sea during a special operation carried out in the seas east of the Foul Point, Trincomalee, early this morning. Among the apprehended individuals were 16 males, including 6 persons involved in the racket, a female over 18 years of age, and 3 other individuals below 18 years. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Ports, Shipping and Civil Aviation Ministry said Sri Lanka Ports Authority has earned $39 million through the port operations so far this year, which is an increase of $24 million compared to its income of $15 million in the previous year. The income has been increased as a result of the increased number of freight operations in the post-COVID-19 period. The ministry said development activities of the east and west container terminals of the Colombo port are being carried out without delay and progress is up to date. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
The annual Sri Pada pilgrimage season 2022-2023 will begin on the Unduap Full Moon Poya Day on Wednesday. A series of religious activities to mark the beginning of the season will be held at the Sri Pada Rajamahaviharaya in Galpottavala, Ratnapura. The processions carrying the sacred objects and the statue of God Sumanasaman from the temple to Sri Pada will begin tomorrow and will reach Sri Pada on Wednesday. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Explosions hit 2 military airfields in Russia. Oil prices rise as cap on Russian crude looms. An Oxford word of the year 2022 revealed as goblin mode. According to reports, several people have been killed in explosions at 2 Russian military airfields. Russian state media reported a fuel tanker exploded, killing 3 and injuring 6 in an airfield near the city of Ryazan, southeast of Moscow. Another 2 people are reported to have been hurt in an explosion at an airfield in the Saratov region. It is not known what caused the blasts. Oil prices have risen after major producers agreed to continue to cut output, and the G7 and its allies said they will cap the prices of Russian oil. Brent crude rose by about 0.6% to about $86 a barrel this morning. On Friday, the G7 agreed to cap the price of Russian oil at $60 a barrel to raise pressure on Russia over the invasion of Ukraine. The first Oxford word of the year to be chosen by public vote has been announced. The winning word, goblin mode, is a slang term describing unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy behavior. It was one of the 3 potential choices selected by Oxford lexicographers. Thousands managed to drag themselves out of goblin mode to vote, as a phrase won by a landslide with 318,956 votes, making up 93% of the total. Back to the headlines of the world news. Explosions hit 2 military airfields in Russia. Oil prices rise as cap on Russian crude looms. And Oxford word of the year 2022 revealed as goblin mode. And that ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance. chance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
On development news, for the first time in the history of agriculture, Sri Lanka has exported Palmyra toddy to France, netting in revenue of $45,000. Palmyra Development Board Chairman Dr. Krishantha Padiraja said Palmyra Development Board Laboratory made several technical adjustments to bring the local Palmyra toddy made by a factory in Jaffna to international standards, and this move will enable them to promote Sri Lankan Palmyra products in the European region, which is a very lucrative market. And that was development news. Now moving on to sports news. All Island School Games held at the Sugatadasa Stadium today established 17 new records, out of which 18 records were from the boys category and 9 new records were reported from the girls category. Lyceum International School Wattala is leading in the boys category, while Valala A. Ratnayaka Vidyalaya is leading in the girls category. Western Province is in the first place at the All Island School Games. The Central Province is in the second place and the Northwestern Province is in the third place. Football news. Coach Tite has confirmed that Neymar is available for Brazil's World Cup last 16th match against South Korea today. The forward, 30, missed Brazil's last 2 group games after sustaining ligament damage in his right ankle in the opening match against Serbia. Brazil, one of the pre-tournament favorites, qualified for the knockout stage with a game to spare and topped Group G despite defeat by Cameroon. And that came to you in sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
National Chamber of Exporters President Ravi Jayawardena appreciated the excellent services rendered by the Sri Lankan exports to swell the country's economy and said conducting award presentation ceremonies will strengthen and encourage the exporters to perform well in the international market. He made these observations during the 30th Annual Export Award Ceremony held at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo. Approximately 142 local exporters won awards and certificates during the ceremony. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
On to economic news. Treasury Secretary Mahinda Siriwardena said the new Financial Management Act with financial transparency and performance efficiency will soon be implemented by the government. The proposed Financial Management Act is in the process of being finalized, and its key features will be to improve the responsible fiscal management process when handling the country's public finances and to take substantial decisions based on efficient resource utilization. And that was economic news. Now moving on to the weather report. The Met Department says a low-level disturbance has developed in the southeast Bay of Bengal near northern Andaman Islands. It is likely to develop into a low-pressure area. This system may intensify further and move close to the north of Sri Lanka. Under the influence of this system, rainy and windy conditions are expected to enhance over the northern, north central and eastern provinces on Wednesday and Thursday. And that was the weather report. And before we conclude this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The government plans to increase the local milk production to reduce the country's dependence on imported milk powder. Measures are to be taken to reduce the heavy number of inmates in prisons. Palali International Airport recommences operations. The price of a litre gas cylinder increased from midnight today. A new constitution will be introduced for Sri Lanka cricket. Foreign news, explosions hit 2 military airfields in Russia. And on sports, All Island School Games establishes 17 new Sri Lanka records. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.